What are your memories of, if you have any memories of the Great Depression?
Okay. I'll tell you some of the things that affected me. I had to do certain things in the house. The only thing my job was sometimes is go down to the basement and get kerosene
Kerosene.
to light the stove. Huh?
I don't know, Lester. I don't remember
Then we
that
had
at all.
bottles of
The kerosene, right?
just light the stove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, there's a big downstairs in the basement was a coal chute. They used to deliver coal and shoot it down into the basement.
Yeah, into the
And-
holding place for
And we had a furnace. We had to make a fire. They had to keep it going all the time because it took a long time to light a fire. My father would come home from work on that, and my brothers did too. I wanted a bicycle for $3. I wanted to buy a bicycle. My mother didn't have the money to buy a bicycle.
Were
I
you,
wa- I
were you
worked-
poor, Grandpa?
What?
Were you
Were
poor?
you a poor family?
When
you were young?
We're a poor family.
Seems like everyone was
Everyone
poor.
was poor, but I think we're better off than poor because we had a house
Yeah.
belonged to us. And I cut the lawn, or I shoveled the sidewalk. And we lived in a nice backyard. I used to play baseball in the backyard.
What city did you live?
Chelsea.
In Chelsea then.
on a-
Grandpa, do you
on-
remember the home address of your house? Do you remember the home address?
Yes, 53 Nickel Street.
53 Nickel Street. Mine was Washington Avenue. 418 Washington Avenue. How do you like that?
Also, I remember that my biggest ownership was a pair of roller skates. I don't know where I got it, but I used to roller skate all the time.
Oh, roller skates was my biggest. And we roller skated right after school every day.
Yeah.
And for about 3 hours. Yeah,
Just roller skated.
roller skated on the sidewalk.
And you never once bumped into each other.
Well,
Did we bump into each other then? I don't know if I knew you.
I'll explain that
It was the same
afterwards.
street, really. It was an
Let me explain
extension.
that. We never bumped into each other,
Yeah, he was older.
but my next door neighbor was a fellow named Mahassey, Irish Catholic. And Tommy was older than me, but he was my mentor. I played ball with him, he liked me, and I liked him. His family were in the tar business doing roads. One day, he did something to me, hurt me somewhere. I can't remember what it was. I told him, I said to myself, I'll get even.
Uh-oh.
So I set the alarm.
Don't let him get even.
I set the alarm clock for 2 o'clock in the morning. And I went outside and went to his backyard, which is right next door, and picked up a bunch of rocks or apples and threw it. He had a shed back there with all windows, and I broke every window.
And no one heard you breaking windows?
No, I broke about all the windows. I threw them all broke. I went back to bed. They woke up. They didn't know who broke all the windows.
Did they ever find out?
No.
They never found out who did it.
You broke all the windows.
Huh?
I actually have a note here from Tommy that he's pressing charges.
What? What?
He has a note there from Tommy that he's pressing charges.
What's that?
Oh, I can't do it.
One more time.
He has a note there from Tommy
Oh,
that he's pressing
oh,
charges.
now I heard, okay.
Yeah, okay.
And did you remain friends with Tommy? Did you remain friends with Tommy after
Did
you
you remain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
broke all his windows, but he's your best friend?
No, but he didn't know that was Lester.
I know that, but
Yeah.
what did he
Then
do?
we used to, you know, the big thing we used to do, some of the things we used to do, we used to go down to the railroad track and pick up coal and bring it home. There was on the railroad track coal
Yeah.
for the furnace.
Yeah.
And one day, what a big thing was to go, they were having auctions. You know what an auction is?
Yes.
No.
Where they auction off horses.
Horses.
Yeah.
You know
Go
this?
ahead. I don't know. You have
You
to
would
tell.
know. You would know.
have to tell more.
All males, all male.
All me.
There's a place down in Chelsea, downtown Chelsea, where all the where they kept horses, and they would auction off horses. They bid, and that was very fascinating to me to see them being bid on horses.
The horses were used for what? Transportation or to do other things?
What were the horses used for? What
For
did they
work,
use
for
them
labor?
To haul different things. Maybe I had an uncle, a distant relative, used to come by the house with a wagon
Yeah.
and buy things, junk. And I went down, he was there, and I remember bringing up a weight from a window. And he says, "Oh, I'll buy that. Here's 2 cents."
Yeah. That was a big deal.
Yeah. Then I would take those cents and go to 5 and 10 cents.
5 and dime.
5 and dime and buy licorice.
Licorice.
Little black was delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have fond memories of childhood?
What?
Do you have fond memories of childhood?
Yes.
Yeah.
My Mrs. Ridford, who lived downstairs,
Mhm.
her son Bobby and I were growing up together. She liked me because she was Protestant and her husband was Jewish, half and half. But she didn't want them to know there was half Jewish. She would sneak them off to the church.
Mhm.
Tommy,
Which was right next door.
no, it was on.
Oh, what street was that?
I'll tell you where it was. It was on near Bellingham Square.
Oh,
the
then you
there.
lived someplace else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she used to sneak them off to church.
Hmm.
And she was friendly with the family. Miss Ritfo was very friendly with the people that owned the produce store in Prattville. What's the name of the people? I can't remember. They had a daughter. Anyway, they had a place in New Hampshire, up in New Hampshire. And every summer, we would go to her house for a couple of weeks, and she'd take me.
Just the
And
child.
she used to say to me, "Don't tell them that you're Jewish. They don't like Jews."
Really?
Yeah.
She said to me, "Don't tell them, and don't tell them your religion." And she made believe that was like her son. She liked me to be there. And then we used to go, we were out 12, 13 years old. It was very hot, and we'd go swimming with no bathing suits. The girls and the boys
Where?
in the pond.
What you mean?
Yeah, Grandpa, why wasn't I invited?
What?
Yeah, I wasn't invited then either.
I was 12 or 13 years old.
You used to get naked with your friends?
What?
Did you go naked or did you have bathing suits?
No, we were naked
Yeah. Where did you go?
in the pond.
Which pond? Where?
The pond in the house in New Hampshire.
Oh, in New Hampshire you're talking. I didn't go to New Hampshire.
Is that when
I never
Mrs.
saw
There
that.
was this place in New
Is
Hampshire.
is that when Mrs. Renfro really took a liking to you?
And she liked me very when I was young. She tells a story.
But when you got naked, she really
She
started.
tells the
liking you.
story this way. She tells it. There's a picture of them in one of the magazine albums. She tells the
What happened
picture.
then? Without the underwear?
What?
She tells the picture. Tells the story about. She came home. She bought a cowboy. What do you call it? Like a cowboy things for cowboy pants. For
Pants?
Bobby.
Oh, for Bobby, her
She-
son.
And I started to cry. She came all the way from Boston, by trolley, by train. I started to cry
Why?
because she didn't buy me one.
No. Yeah.
I didn't forget this. So she went back to Boston for hours later to buy me a pair of cowboy pants. She loved me so much.
Oh.
She called me half pint.
Half pint.
What does that mean?
half a size, you know.
Yeah.
She called me half pint.
Yeah.
And she loved me. She wanted to make, I was like her son. And she for many years afterwards, I took Marilyn to meet her. She won't remember. We went roller skating. Bobby went to her house. She liked you. You're Miss
Yeah.
Ridgewell.
Grandpa, what did you ever stay in touch with her after you left Chelsea? Did you lose touch with her?
I was in touch with her, yes. She used to send me things in the army.
That was when you were in the army.
How about after the army? Did you ever try to track her down after the army?
Did you ever meet her after? Did you
Yeah,
ever
yes,
see
yeah.
her after
Yeah.
the army?
What
Were
about
you-
Bobby? Did you stay in touch with Bobby?
Did you stay in touch with Bobby?
I'll tell you who I was very close to. Your Aunt Bessie,
Yeah.
your grandmother Bessie,
No,
No.
my great aunt.
She was his great aunt.
Yeah.
your
Yeah. Great aunt.
great aunt?
Yeah.
My great aunt was very friendly with Mrs. Ridgewell, and they would touch all the time together. And she brought me there a couple of times.
Mm.
And she was beautiful. She was beautiful. She was red hair.
Who are we talking about?
Mrs. Ridgewell,
Oh, Mrs. Ridgewell.
very pretty.
Yeah.
Bill, her husband, came from a very prominent Jewish family. They were all doctors, psychiatrists, and so forth. But her husband, Bill, was a butcher
Mhm.
in Boston, sold meat.
Yeah.
I don't think she loved him, but anyway, he met her.
She loved you.
Yeah.
He met her on the street. He was in the Navy in 1919.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Nice. What about Bobby? Did you stay in touch with him? Did he go into the army?
Well, no. What happened, Bobby was played the trombone. Very good at this. And he tried out for the army band. He didn't make it, but he was selected to run to be a lead player in the Coast Guard band.
Uh-huh.
So all during the war, he played it. He blew instruments. And then somehow
Protecting our
I heard
country.
afterwards. I heard afterwards, after the army, he retired. He left there. He met a girl in Florida, and died in the water.
Oh no.
He drowned?
He had a heart attack.
Oh.
Bobby died.
How long ago was this?
And they never sent, she was angry, they never sent his body back.
Wow. He was in Florida when he died, and they never.
She never saw him, but she was so in touch with me. Mrs. Fiffo, I used to call her Fiffo. F-I-F-F-O.
Yeah, it was Ridgewell.
Why didn't they send the body back? The mom didn't like him that much?
She had fights with the family. They never sent her body back.
Mm,
That's one way to get him back.
yeah.
What?
That's one way to get him back. Yeah.
What a life. He wore cowboy pants. He played the trombone. That's one way to get people to think you're not Jewish.
Yeah,
What's
right.
that?
Yeah.
What? He wasn't Jewish.
He was half.
Bobby.
He was
Ridgewell,
half Jewish.
He was half Jewish.
According to
He was
Grandpa.
half Jewish. Bobby.
Half Jewish, yeah.
Half Jewish.
But he never practiced Judaism.
No.
Knew nothing about Jews at all.
Yeah.
He leaned towards the Christian side.
Well, he wanted to be.
Did you ever tell him that you were the one that broke the windows down the road? Did you ever end up telling them?
Did you ever confess you're breaking all those windows down there?
To Tommy Hassey? No.
No.
Oh, I thought that was Bobby's. Oh no, I'm getting those two confused.
Yeah.
So we were talking about the Great Depression. We kind of went off on a tangent, but is that your memories from the Great Depression? Some of your memory, like
What is that?
Grandpa? There's a reason why.
Wait a minute, I have one more expression.
Okay, good.
I cried because I wanted to go to the movies. And then she wanted cost a dime to go to the movie. I died 10 cents.
Mm.
She had no money. She'd take 2 bottles.
Who's she?
My mother would say.
Oh, your mother.
Would say 2 bottles. You get a refund on the bottles, 5
About
cents.
5 cents each.
She'd
Yeah.
take the bottles to Promisel,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a big grocery store.
and I get a rebate for 10 cents, and take the 10 cents Wait a minute. I get 3 bottles, get 15 cents and 5 cents for candy. After the movie, I'd go to the 5 or 10 cent store and buy licorice. I like licorice.
Licorice.
Yeah.
I still like licorice.
Yeah.
To this day?
Until now.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy growing up, Ben.
The Great Depression?
Here's another thing. Here's another problem. You remember Nickel Street at all?
I've never been. I don't think I've ever been to Chelsea,
Yeah.
Massachusetts.
Yes, you have. You've been to Chelsea. But Nickel Street was it's called Prattville. Spell it Prattville. P-R-A-T.
T-T.
V-I-L-L-E. Prattville.
V-I-L-L-E. Yeah.
There was a big
Prattville.
park there.
Yeah.
And if you go up that park, up the park, through the park, comes to another level, was higher class people. That's where we lived.
Those, yeah,
Yes, my
those were the
father
more
bought-
expensive
My father
houses.
bought the former mayor's house,
Oh, yeah?
and that's where we lived.
Mm.
People down below were Italian, all Italian, Irish.
There were there's a black community down
No
there.
black, no
Down
black,
there.
none, no black. The black in Everett, not in Chelsea. No,
Really?
I never saw black.
No?
And then the people down below, we'd be fighting all the time. I'd be fist fighting all the time, fighting, big crowds fighting. We'd fight. I'd come home with a black nose, and the kids now were fighting. This is my territory. Keep away from me. And I fought for the honor of upper class Prattville.
How did that turn out?
And then,
Actually, Prattville
and
was a
then
nice
I
neighborhood.
lived next to a Catholic church.
Yeah.
I lived next to a Catholic church. And all the nuns, the one father, Walsh, who was very handsome, he took a liking to me. He'd see me all the time. And I remember writing on the sidewalk, there was sidewalk and dirt and trees, remember? On
Remember?
the sidewalk on the street. And I was writing, I say, fuck
How
you.
would you know?
And he
Fuck what?
And
Fuck you.
And I remember Walsh coming, Dr. Father Walsh coming by, gave me a lecture.
Oh, about using that language.
He wrote fuck you.
But he probably was fucking somebody else.
Yeah.
Do you think, did you have Italian and Irish friends growing up?
What?
Did you have Italian and Irish
Dude,
friends?
Tommy Hassey was Irish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have a mix of friends, or was it mostly Jewish, or was it a melting pot?
Yeah.
Irish and,
Who were your friends growing
was they
up?
Italian? Were they Irish? Because I know, like,
Yeah.
Mamone was your best friend in the army.
Let me explain it. Let me tell you a story I had. Very interesting story. Because we came out of the book that we were reading together. What's the most significant part of your life that's changed your life? I said, you know something, Marilyn? I'm going to tell you a story. I hadn't thought about it before. But now that you asked me, I remember one incident changed my life forever. She says, what was that? I used to come home from work with books and study to study. And I walk with maybe a couple of friends, maybe with Hassey, with other people, Jewish kids, also with Tommy Hassey, coming up the street of Washington Avenue. And this mentally ill Italian boy, who was always in jail. He was a delinquent, he was terrible, he was a thief, everything. He'd come behind me and knock all the books out. He hit me on the head and walk away laughing. And I didn't do anything, I was afraid of him. It happened many, many times. One day I said to myself, the next time he does that, I'm going to take action. This guy was bigger, stronger, and meaner. And he came behind me one day and he knocked out all the books on my arm. I turned around and I said, let's fight up this. There's a little stairs going up the hill, Powder on Hill. There's grass there. Let's fight, let's go up there, we'll fight on the ground. Let's fight. He says, okay. I came up to that level and I tackled him. He was bigger than me. And I pinned him to the ground and I had his name. He said, he yelled out, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. I was going to kill him. And
Yeah.
leave me alone. He never touched me again.
Yeah.
The answer is, as I told that to Marilyn, that changed my life forever. Because if something bothers you, you got to do something to change it back to normal.
Mm.
There you go.
You can't go on
Let it
existing
go
that
back.
way. It's a mistake. You've got to change it.
You can't live in
That's
fear.
what I did,
Mm.
and that's how it changed my life.
Mm.
And now, from now on, that did the same principle when I ran the hospital. If something was bothering me, I took action.
Mhm.
Example, one day, my assistant director, Freddie Arthur Cohen, came up to me and said, the very statewide prominent cardiac surgeon worked in my hospital was the original heart surgery.
Yeah.
And Arthur Cohen says to me that
What was his name?
Victor Passanet is calling a meeting. I said, what meeting? I don't know anything about a meeting without if I don't know about the meeting.
Wait a minute, you were in charge of the hospital
Yeah.
then. You didn't say that.
Yes, he understood that.
Yeah.
Smell your neck.
Yeah.
Want to take a break?
Huh?
You want to take a break?
You want to take a break?
No.
No.
I'm just getting started.
That's what I figured.
And then he says, calling a meeting. I said, what meeting? He said, I don't know. I said, but he says to me, but he's calling a meeting of all the department heads that are under me. All the chief of medicine, surgery, pediatrics, obstetrics, everything. And he's having a big meeting. I said, I don't know anything about a meeting. So Arthur Cohen said to me, you better find out. So I turned up to this big shot, Victor Passanet, big known man throughout the country.
Doctor.
I said, Dr. Passanet, Victor, what meeting you have? He said, I'm having a meeting, but you're not invited. I said, what are you talking about? What's the meeting all about? He said, I'm having a meeting of all the department heads. I said, you're not having a meeting without me. He looked at me. He said, I guess you're the president, aren't you? I said, you bet your ass I am. You're not having a meeting without me.
Yeah.
Without me. He didn't expect that. And he called a meeting, and when he changed the meeting around a lot because he didn't want to, he was going to bypass everything, showed me how he get things done without going through all the steps. Didn't need me. I said, Victor, this meeting is dismissed. I got rid of the meeting. You've got to take action, just like that man who knocked the books off me. You've got to take action unless it bothers you.
Yeah.
You've got to take action.
Gotta take action.
Remember, that's good advice.
That's great advice. Don't sit on the sideline.
Huh?
Don't sit on the sideline.
Don't sit on.
Yeah.
You gotta get in the game.
Gotta get in the game.
That's you learn something from this.
Yep. Also reminds me of the story you told me about the dry cleaner. When
The dry cleaner, that was a great story.
the dry cleaner.
When I came out of the army, can you give me a patch or something? Give me my neck is killing me.
And we'll pause it for a
You
second.
have something